All right, let's dive into one of the most brutal what-if scenarios imaginable. What happens when you drop a biological singularity, a perfect individual predator, smack into the middle of the grim darkness of the 41st millennium? You know, a galaxy that has basically perfected the art of apocalyptic warfare. So when Alex Mercer, the Blacklight virus himself, comes face to face with the Tyranid Swarm, it's not just a fight. It's way more than that. It's a collision of evolutionary philosophies. And believe me, the outcome is going to redefine what it even means to be an apex predator. We are about to witness a war that's not fought with bullets and bombs, but with competing biological ideologies. A war where adaptation is the only way to survive, and consumption is pretty much the only way to win.
And so our story begins, violently, as you'd expect. Alex Mercer crashes into the underhive of an Imperial world, Tertium Majoris. He's disoriented, he's alone, and he's in a universe that is actively, and I mean actively, trying to kill him. So what's his first order of business? Learn the rules. Fast.
So on one side, you've got Alex Mercer. Think of him as a single, self-contained viral colony, a perfect adaptive individual. And on the other side, the Tyranid Swarm, a galaxy-spanning collective consciousness, trillions of organisms all acting as one. The perfect collective. It's a heck of a matchup.
Mercer adapts with just terrifying speed. First, he consumes a few locals to learn the language. Then he moves up the food chain to the Adeptus Arbites, the local law enforcement, to absorb their combat tactics. And when they send a heavy response team, he doesn't just defeat them, he systematically consumes them. And by doing that, he basically puts a giant flashing beacon on himself right on the radar of the Imperium's most feared organization. This whole escalation brings him to his first major test. And this isn't a battle of claws and biomass. Nope, this is a negotiation of power, where Mercer's completely unprecedented abilities meet the absolute authority of the Imperium of Man. So, who exactly are the Inquisition? Well, think of them as the ultimate control system. These guys operate above the law, above the military. They have the power to order the destruction of entire worlds on a whim. They are the final say on what is permitted to exist. So Inquisitor Halia Corvain shows up and gives Mercer a choice. And it is a masterclass in leverage. You've got the stick, orbital strikes, a relentless, galaxy-wide hunt. Basically, annihilation. And then you've got the carrot. Conditional survival, sure. But more importantly, access to the very knowledge Mercer needs to evolve, data on the galaxy's other apex predators. And this right here is where we see Mercer's true power. It's not just his physical strength, it's his cold, analytical mind. He sees right through the threat. A mindless monster would have just charged. But Mercer? He recognizes that Corvain's physical presence is the ultimate tell. She's not willing to destroy such a valuable asset. He calls her bluff. It's brilliant. This whole encounter really builds his strategy for this new universe. First, he operates on pure logic, not panic or fear. Second, he shows strategic restraint. He knows that killing an Inquisitor would kick off a war he can't win, at least not yet. And third, every single confrontation is a data harvesting operation. He literally turns her threats into his own personal intelligence briefing. So by accepting the Inquisitor's leash, Mercer gets thrown headfirst into the galaxy's bigger conflicts. And this is where we really see just how unique he is, especially when he's faced with the, let's say, metaphysical threat of chaos. So what's the difference between these two big bads? Well, chaos is a violation of natural law. It corrupts your very soul, twisting you into a slave for some seriously malevolent gods. Tyranid adaptation, on the other hand, is just pure biological logic. It changes your flesh to counter a threat. So one is a spiritual disease, the other is just hyper-evolution on steroids. And this is where Mercer becomes truly terrifying to the powers that be. When he runs into demonic corruption straight from the warp, he doesn't fall. His viral biology just treats that metaphysical taint as, well, more data. He digests the corruption, he neutralizes it, and he integrates the information. He literally eats miracles. So the board is set. You've got the Inquisition who want absolute control, you have the Tyranids who want total consumption of all biomass, and then there's Chaos, which just wants to corrupt all life. Three massive galaxy-spanning threats, each with a different endgame, and Mercer is now a player right in the middle of it all. Which, of course, leads us to the main event. Mercer's very existence as an individual predator who operates on the same principles of consumption and adaptation.
Well, that makes him a totally unacceptable variable to the ultimate collective, the Tyranid Swarm. The hive mind is the ultimate superorganism. We're talking about a psychic consciousness that spans light years, linking every single Tyranid into a perfectly coordinated weapon. Every creature, from the tiniest ripper to the most massive hive ship, is just a single cell in one giant, galaxy-devouring entity. Now, when Mercer consumes his first Tyranid warrior, something incredible happens, a critical moment. The hive mind tries to assert control, to make him just another part of the swarm. But Mercer's viral will is just too strong. He fights back. He rewires the synaptic connection as he consumes it, and he creates a one-way data siphon. He hacks the hive mind. And the intelligence he gets is just staggering. He downloads millions of years of evolutionary history, blueprints for insane bioweapons and armor. He develops this kind of biological echolocation, which lets him feel the swarm's presence across the stars. He essentially steals the enemy's entire playbook. So this sets the stage for the final confrontation. This is a war that's going to decide the future of biological supremacy in the galaxy. It is the ultimate test, right? Can the perfect individual outwit and shatter the will of the perfect collective? And as this slide shows, both of these apex predators have a critical weakness. For Mercer, it's nulls, psychic blanks whose very presence can disrupt his cellular coherence. And for the Tyranids, their greatest strength is also their greatest vulnerability, their absolute, total dependence on the hive mind's synaptic connection. This brings us to Mercer's endgame. He realizes he can't outconsume a galaxy-spanning swarm. So, he designs a weapon that attacks their very philosophy. A retrovirus that doesn't kill them, but actually severs their link to the hive mind, forcing trillions of mindless organisms to experience individuality for the very first time. And the result? Total, utter chaos. So what do we take away from all this? Well, 3 crucial truths about how to survive in the 41st millennium. First, power is always a transaction, a cost-benefit analysis. Second, even a predator like Mercer has to play the game and navigate the system. And third, the ultimate weapon isn't just brute force, it's the ability to subvert and control your enemy. And that leaves us with one final, chilling question. In its attempt to control a monster, the Inquisition basically gave it a syllabus on how to become a god. By teaching Mercer how to fight the galaxy's horrors, have they actually created their greatest weapon, or have they simply trained their own replacement?